You're a broker in Manhattan, but arguably the most prolific of all time. How do people know you? What do they know you of as a broker? There's a lot of brokers in Manhattan, but what do they know you for?
I think one of the things that we always were very focused on, and let's go back to the beginning because that's when it all starts, right? We always thought that it's very basic to you get an exclusive listing, you put a setup together, you send that out to the market. We did that by hard mail back in the old days. It was even before fax machines were around, so it was really just hard mail. And you'd put an ad in the classified section of the New York Times, which was like the multiple listing service back in those days. But we created content. We were writing market reports back then. We were doing a newsletter back then. We were creating things so that, and when we started, our value proposition was very simple. We only sell buildings. We only represent sellers. We only work on exclusives, and we only work in your neighborhood. And I said that in 15 seconds. That was very easy to understand. So it wasn't, well, we're equity placement intermediaries. Most people write and talk at a fifth grade level. That's not a disparaging comment in any way. That's a fact that people tend to communicate at a fifth grade level, and that's okay. But I think you have to make it easy for people to understand what you do. People always say, well, what do you do for a living? I say, I sell buildings. Right? That's what I do. So we would always beat the drum. Hey, we work in your neighborhood. We know every owner of every building in the territory. We track every sale. We know every zoning change. We know what new developments are going on. And when we would go into pitch business, we had only sold 3 buildings in our career, but we'd pitch against people with a lot more experience. And we'd go into an owner and they say, well, why should we hire you? Say, well, look, we know everything that's going on in this area. And yes, we've only sold 3 buildings, but one was down the street. One was right across from your building and the other one was right next door. And we know this neighborhood better than anybody. And we'll be able to be a better advocate for you in terms of convincing a buyer why they should pay more for your building. And that really got traction for us. So we were 2 young kids, didn't have a lot of track record, a lot of experience, but we had a value proposition that resonated with people. And we went out and it started to snowball. And then we had 2 small geographic territories we worked in. We put somebody north of us, somebody south of us, somebody east of us, somebody west of us, and grew it like a jigsaw puzzle.